Brothers and sisters, friends and family, much love to you guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day whenever you guys do read this, listen with this. Guys, thank you so much. My name is Jason. I'm with Yahuwah and the Torah channel. We are the ones who put together the Yah Scriptures by the hand of our Creator. And what we're reading out of today is the very last book in Yah Scriptures. And it is the book of Khalidi. It is the book of the Nazarene. It is the words of our Messiah when he walked with people and it was recorded down. And this book, I found so many different holes in what I thought was my Torah game. I found a lot of problems with my understanding of things that I didn't understand. And so I think it's wise that we all read this as a group, as a family, and discuss these words, discuss what our Messiah says, and try to open our eyes to the bigger picture of the complete Torah and the way forward. And for those who don't know what the Torah is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And it is within those 5 books that we have the rules for life. Now, many people don't understand what the Torah means because they have been programmed. And in the so-called word of religion and the world of religion, religion programs people with traditions of men. They program them with things that are contrary to what scriptures say. And there's so many different scriptures that talks about those who are the participants of the kingdom to come. The people of the kingdom to come are those who are keeping our Creator's appointed times, his holy days, his feasts, his Torah, his laws, his covenant, his statutes. All of those are what our Creator has said, if you would do, I will be your Elohim, I will be your God, I will be your leader. But in order for me to be your leader and accept you as a people, the way forward is what people call the law. And as much as you might call it the law, it's really a guidepost for life. Excuse me. It is a guidepost for all things of morale. We wouldn't know what sin is unless we knew what the Torah was. And if we don't know what the Torah is, which is what we will be judged upon on Judgment Day, it's going to be on us. We have a time in this world right now where we have any scriptures you want that are absolutely free of charge on phones and tablets and Bibles everywhere. It doesn't matter what translation you use. When you're trying to get to the truth is still the truth. It doesn't matter if they've botched it. And the translation does absolutely matter when it comes to the names of our Creator. Which is why we have Yah Scriptures, which is why we have the name of our Creator stamped in Paleo Hebrew on the front of this amazing cover of Scriptures. Now these Scriptures will be shipping Wednesday this week. There's a limited edition of these. I don't know how long they'll be in stock. There's a lot of demand for these. People really want the truth. This is a large scriptures, guys. It is large. This is not something that's like portable that you can walk around with. This is a study scriptures. It's 14.5 font, which means anybody with majority of vision issues can see this very clearly. And I have vision issues, and I'm able to see this very, very clearly. And so on the back of these scriptures right here is the name of our Messiah. And this right here, what we're doing right here is we're reading the words of our Messiah. And if we look at Psalms 119:11, which is stamped, embossed onto the back of these scriptures. I have treasured up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And a lot of people will see Psalms 119, see this, and they don't understand that what David's talking about is the Torah, the words of our Creator, the Kodesh books, the books of wisdom, right? That's what we all have. And if David is a man after our Creator's own heart, and he stores up the word of our Creator, that he doesn't sin against him, that's what we should be doing as well. And so as we start reading chapter 4, the ending of chapter 4 of the words of our Messiah, I hope you guys enjoy these readings. I hope this is a good discussion. This is a little different discussion than I've done a lot in the past, because I want to discuss all of the points that I can see and that we can discuss and that we can talk about as a family. So here we are, guys. The book of Khalidi, chapter 4, verse 33. No man is so important that he is above the need to work. If it becomes necessary to dress hides in the marketplace, then undertake it with a cheerful heart. Even the rich must do something, for idleness is the rust of time. You know, a lot of people talk about Proverbs and about how wise the book of Proverbs is. But I don't think Proverbs can hold a candle to the understanding that our Creator's Son has given to us. Messiah Yahushua takes something that is really the very first commandment. In Genesis 1, the very first commandment that we have of all commandments is to be fruitful. Now, that means that, lounge lizards and loafs, that's not being fruitful, right? We have been created, we have been instilled with the breath of our Creator, given life, given a spirit, so that we can do stuff and we can build the kingdom to come, that we can call those who are willing to be called. It's one thing, and we were talking about this in the last, to become depressed and to be able to sit on it. And Messiah says we shouldn't do that, right? We need to rise above our conditions. We need to do better than this. Then he comes across right here and he talks about we need to work. We need to do whatever it takes, even if we have to dress hides in the marketplace. And most people have no idea, because we've grown up in a modern civilization where most people haven't had to kill their cows and dress hides and do this thing. But I will tell you, it is kind of a gross work. We have chopped up many a cows. We have killed many a cows in various ways down here in the third world. It's very different than it is in North America, trying to deal with animals. And when you're dressing the hides, when you're done with the cow and you've cut everything up, the skins all come off of it. And it's pretty foul. It isn't something that's great. And so if you're having to do this, and this is your job of cutting hides, grabbing flesh all day, taking the meat from the hides, or even stretching this out and salting it up and making something for it, that's what we're supposed to be doing. We shouldn't be lazy, is what Messiah is saying. And even the rich must do something, for idleness is the rust of time. Judge no man otherwise than you would wish to be judged. Once a young woman was carried off and placed in a whorehouse in another country. Her father sent 2 men to ransom her, and when they came to the whorehouse, one remained outside while the other went in. When he who went in came out, he said to the other, "What do you think I was doing in there?" The other replied, "Why, negotiating the woman's ransom." Even so should you judge with the scales weighed down favorably. Right? Again, we've heard this, judge not lest ye be judged. With what we meet, we will be meted with. Right? Messiah clears it up even more, right? It's one of these things to have, when we're saying this guy must be in at a whorehouse doing evil things, but obviously he was there to negotiate this thing. And so Messiah says when we're judging, the scales need to be weighed down favorably. We need to try to find the best in the situation until we know more. And so it's being positive. It's being not judging, looking for evil, trying to make something out of something that's not. We need to have scales that are weighed down favorably. Yahushua taught his Talmudian thus: All things a man possesses, his talents and his skills are gifts bestowed by the grace of Yahuwah. The inheritance received by anyone should be regarded as something received in trust. And it is true that if they deal with it wrongfully or selfishly, payment will be required. One of the greatest of life's tests is the challenge of wealth or position, and few are those who successfully meet it. Therefore, do not envy those with wealth and position unless they deal with them wisely. Otherwise, pity them, for they have failed to rise above their test. Wow, there's so much into this entire thing. Understanding that, we are designed in a intricate way. We may just be a toss-up of DNA when it comes to our father or mother, but when we are breathed life into us by the creator of the universe, he has designed every single one of us, and he knows every single one of us. He knows how many freckles you may or may not have on your back. He knows how many moles you may or may not have on you. He knows everything about you. And some of us are really good at certain things. Some of us are really good at musical instruments, while some of us look at them and have no idea how anything could ever be played, right? Our Creator has tossed things in so that we're not all exact robots. We all have different characters and different personalities. And we need to understand that we were given these by the grace of our Creator. And that's why we need to be appreciative of our Creator. And how do we be appreciative of our Creator? Well, we obey what he wants us to do. We obey the way forward where he says, I want you for all generations to obey my laws, statutes, and commandments. There was never a set time. There's never a box of milk with an expiration date with the Torah. Our Messiah clearly says that not one jot or tittle, not one line or dash or word of the Torah will ever be gone until heaven and earth passes away. And you can clearly see heaven, we can clearly see earth. So Messiah clearly says the Torah is good for all times, right? And then he goes on, he talks about wealth. And there is a tremendous amount of truth to right here, because wealth makes you a slave to the wealth. Because you value your money and you are as you are, most wealthy people are not very generous, right? They will do their tax generosity stuff so they get their tax breaks, and they will do all the stuff that makes sense when it comes to a money standpoint. But as far as are they out changing the world, or are they out there making sure their world is changed? Most likely it's their world being changed. And so wealth changes things, right? Either you become the master of money, or master becomes the money. Money becomes the master of you, is what I'm trying to spit out there. And that is where you have to be very, very careful. And if money is your master, then you're not seeking the kingdom, because we are told not to store up things that are going to rust and mildew and mold and become corrupted, because this is a temporary journey we are on right here. Everything you see, your flesh, your surroundings, it's all going to disappear. When we are called to the second Exodus, when our Messiah calls us to the New Jerusalem, there's going to be another big Exodus, right? The Exodus are for the people who are keeping the laws and have the faith of Messiah Yahushua, who have the faith of Jesus the Christ. Those are the people who are going to be called. If you're not dialed in, if the Torah isn't between the frontlets of your eyes, you're not viewing everything in the world by the Torah, don't expect that you're going to be called in. Don't expect that we're going to be saved out of a horrible tribulation that's happening all around us. So, continuing on, 36. A wayfarer once came to an inn, and finding no one there, went into the eating hall, where he found a table set with all good things, many kinds of food and drink. So he sat down and helped himself, thinking, no one else is here, so all this must be mine. And if mine, I can do with it as I please. However, when the innkeeper returned from where he had been, the wayfarer could not escape the accounting. Guys, these are words of wisdom. These are gold. These are things that our Messiah has said that we need to understand. There is a day of accounting for all of us, right? The day of accounting is Judgment Day. Probably the moment we take our last breath and we cross to the other side, there's going to be a basic accounting. Are we going to a bad place of Sheol, or are we going to a place of contentment? Where are we going to go as we're sitting here hanging out, right? Or are we just sleeping? I don't know. But what we have is we have this accounting. How we lived every moment of our lives is very, very important. Every idle word we say, every evil thing that we say, every evil thought that we have, every evil thing that is crossing our minds, the thoughts of men are what we are going to be judged upon. There's not going to be any escaping the accounting. So we have been given a beautiful thing which is called life. We've been given a fantastic, wonderful thing called the Torah. We have been given a leader, a king, our Messiah, Yahushua, who's going to lead this charge on the other side. I believe this with all my heart. I know scriptures are true. There's nothing else that makes any sense in this world except what I am able to see in these scriptures. So the day of accounting is going to come. We should be those people that are ready for that accounting. The rich are responsible for providing the needs of the poor, whether by work or food. This, above all, is the prime responsibility of wealth. And if a rich man says this he cannot do, then his riches witness against him. For if a poor man has a loaf of bread, he will share it with he who has none. And a beggar at the door of a poor man receives better treatment than he does at the doors of the rich. Yet the rich have the most to give. And this is the sin of the wealthy. There it is. There's the master of money, right? The money has mastered the human. I've seen this all my life. I've seen it. I've seen those with none who are willing to step up for those with none. And those with wealth, they will leave the broken. They will absolutely not put their wealth to use to save those around them. And that is what, you don't become rich by being a nice guy. A lot of people are very, very, very stingy with this wealth. And we can't take it with us. There's only so much you can collect. There's only so much you can have. And there's only so much you can have that you try to save yourself with. If you are a child of the Most High, if you are obeying the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator, you are rich. You are completely rich. You are filthy, stinking rich. You guys have like a spiritual protection surrounding you. You have a way forward. This life is a speed bump to eternity. We have 120 years to prove this, that we are willing and able to be soldiers for the kingdom to come, and that we are willing to do what our Creator has called us to do, which most don't care about. 41,000 different religions of everybody not caring. Continuing on, 38, Messiah says, riches of themselves are not sinful. It is what they make of men that brings them into ill repute. If they were properly regarded as something permitting the possessor to study the books of wisdom and to redress the wrongs of the poor, then they would serve a good end. Let the rich ask themselves with sincerity, am I not wealthy because of my lack of charity and the exploitation of others? Is it not because I love myself more than my neighbors? Right? Ask any rich person that. They're going to look down. They're not going to want to answer that. And this is incredible, right? Because this is the sin of money, is that we as a world, well, let's just talk North America. North America spends more money on wars than the military-industrial complex. And if they had spent that on their own poor, then we wouldn't have lines of people in cities now in tents in North America, which has unfortunately become a fourth world country. Like I live in a third world country where everybody laughed when I moved here a decade ago, and we don't have anything like this. There's definitely homeless people. Yes, not they're there. You got the drunks, you got the alcoholics, you got all that stuff. You got the guys on drugs, but it's nothing like what you're seeing in North America. And so here we are as a country. I am a North American. I'm straight out of Babylon, and we as a country, and it's not us, right? It's not the people, but it's the government. It's the military-industrial complex. It's the theater of the puppets of power that do all of this stuff. And really, the end user's us. We have nothing that we can possibly do except move out of the country if this is possible. A lot of us can't do that. So, are we loving our neighbors? Are we giving charity to them? Are we understanding the books of wisdom? And amazingly, if all of those with money would try to redress the wrongs of the poor, we wouldn't have the kind of poor that we have. But we will have this kind of kingdom when the kingdom comes. We will have the charitable people. We will have a group of people who are amazing people because they will be our true brothers and sisters. Because Messiah says anybody who's keeping the laws of his dad are his brothers and sisters. 39. It is dangerous to be near a man without wisdom. He is like a true tree with many fine branches but few roots. The winds of adversity blow and he is uprooted. Choose your friends with great care, measuring them against the words of wisdom. The man who is himself a good friend will never lack friends, but those who think they have many friends have none. The loneliest person is one living for himself alone, but it is better to be lonely than to be in bad company. You know, there's so much to every single verse in these things. You know, this is just the same thing that I talk about a lot, that the religion of Christianity or any religion, they're dangerous people because they do not have the books of wisdom. They do not have the moral laws, the Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. That's old school to them. That's the things of Moses and the people of the Creator. That's not for them. They have a new path. They have a new covenant. And in Hebrews 8, the new covenant doesn't have a house of Gentile. It has a house of Israel and a house of Judah. But yet they will claim to that verse till their souls are gone. So sounds like a lot like the book of Proverbs, right? Talks all about don't hang out in bad company. Don't hang about with bad friends. Stay very careful. It's better to be lonely than it is to be around bad people. So instead of feeling like you have to hang out with evil people because they don't keep Torah, it is what it is, separate yourself, right? Get into scriptures. Bring the Ruach HaKodesh right around you. Study with the best of the best, the scriptures. And so here we are. That just, be very careful who you have for friends. Yahushua said, "It is not unseemly to glory in your strength, but never become vain. For in strength you are not superior to the beasts. If the standard is to be the ability to bear a heavy burden, a donkey can carry more than any of you. An elephant is mightier than a score of men, while a camel has more stamina than any man. Strength and stamina are goodly things, seen in the right perspective. But they can be a heavy handicap on the path of spiritual development, particularly if they lead to arrogance and inconsideration for others. Strength, like riches and knowledge, is a goodly thing of itself, if properly utilized. For most, the test is too great." This is huge. This is something that we talk about here. One of my boys is a weightlifter. It kind of gets to him. He is always sitting there cranking out some iron. And I used this verse with him the other day. I'm like, look, man, your strength, you're popping up in the window and trying to look how are you developing? I'm like, look, if the standard is to bear a heavy burden, look, the donkey and the horse, man, they smote you. And then what about an elephant, right? That beats a score of men. So, if we're looking at how good are we when it comes to our strength, we're just created entities, and our Creator has created very strong things, right? Very, very big. Rhinos can pick a car up and toss them around. There's just a lot of strength in these things. And so at the end of the day, we're humans. And we're very delicate. As tough and as mighty as we think we are very delicate because our lives are in the hands of our Creator. And the more that we love our Creator, the more we probably have a chance at living longer. That would be my guess based upon what I can see in scriptures. Now, 41. Some disciples, Talmudian, came to Yahushua and asked whether they should not withdraw into the wilderness, where they would dedicate their lives to Yahuwah. Yahushua said, "Of what use would my teachings be in the wilderness? Are you going to save rocks from sin or convert camels? Will you enlighten the wind or give wisdom to mirages? Where is the benefit if what you learn cannot be put into practice? Learning and good conduct must go hand in hand, and the greatest wisdom is that which teaches men to live in harmony. They who seek to escape the tests and trials of life are cowards. Are you going to withdraw from the conflict through lack of courage, standing silently by while the wicked swallow up the good? It's huge. Like, wow. Where do we even begin on this whole thing, right? Messiah's like talking to a guy who says he wants to become like the John the Immerser and toss off into the wilderness. Messiah goes, what purpose is this? What are we going to do? Are we going to convert the rocks? Are we going to get wisdom to mirages? That's not going to build the kingdom. Our job as soldiers of the stake, soldiers of the kingdom, is to bring those who cannot hear and cannot see into a state of understanding. Those who are seeking our Creator can have seeds planted in them at all times. And it might be something that you say, and a decade later, it clicks in them. And then they decide, wow, that sounds like the right way to go. It sounds like I've had the truth all along. But if we are not willing to be soldiers of the stake, if we're not courageous enough to go to these people, then what are we doing? Converting camels? Are we going to get the camels to come to Torah? Right? It's not going to work. It's going to be like pearls to swine. They don't care. So don't be weak is what our Creator says. Creator's Son says, right? Be strong, be tough, be vigilant, be courageous, and go out and understand that our job is to bring the people to the kingdom who are willing to be to the kingdom. 43. The disciples of Talmudian said, Adonai, are you bringing strife or shalom? Do you prepare us for battle? Are we to rally the people? Yahushua said, do you still not understand? I am a man of shalom, and I unsheath only the sword of the Ruach. This is not the easy way, for it is less difficult to change things with a sword than with soft words. For those who oppose us understand that better. But let only those who would use weapons with courage talk about soft words and shalom. Otherwise, better men will justifiably scorn them as cowards. Cowards talk about shalom and brave men about war. But I tell you that when brave men talk shalom and cowards are sent to war, there will be no more strife, and a new day will dawn. Wow, Messiah, just every single thing he says in the scriptures are things to sit and ponder and to think and to try to understand. The disciples, they did not understand. Are we to raise up the people? Are we to go to war? And Messiah says it's not like this. What he was bringing to us is he was bringing the power of the Creator of the universe to us. The Ruach HaKodesh is what he had and what he would bring to us. And this is the words that Messiah says. It would be easy to use weapons than soft words. And the people who are against the kingdom understand this. And so we are soldiers of the stake using the words of the Kadesh books to try to bring the people of the kingdom about. And so these are extremely hard things to see from these words. But our Messiah is just so astute. He is so smart with all of this. 45. A Talmud, a disciple named Machiah, said to Yahushua, Adonai, teach us how to love one another without malice or envy, with goodwill and forbearance. Yahushua said, the first step is to love yourself less, and by doing this you will find more love to give. If I say I like being loved, that person is wrong, for rather you should say I like loving. Do not seek to take love, but to give it, for have I not said it is better to give than to receive. Guys, wow, this is so much power in these words. These are things where I chisel myself out, right? Love ourselves less, right? Don't worry about ourselves. Don't worry about our skin. Don't worry about our food. Don't worry about anything, because our Creator knows what we need. He knows that when we're hungry. He knows when we can't pay our bills. He knows when everything is going against us. He knows. But we need to give love. And we need to be those loving machines. Nobody's ever going to come to the kingdom unless we can love them. Right? You're not going to, when Messiah tells us we have to be patient with people. We have to answer people with patience. because if not, it doesn't make any sense. And it's hard to do that, especially when people keep coming at you over and over and over, and they can't provide scriptures. But we got to love. And this is the message of our Creator Son, that we are able to do this stuff, and we're doing it in love. And the answer to being loving ourselves less was when a disciple asked him how to love one without malice and envy. And that's hard. We get upset with people. We get tired of people. And so sometimes malice and envy come. And also with goodwill and forbearance, right? Being good to them and bearing with them, right? In the future, right? How do we not get tired of people? Messiah says, love them, right? Love them more. Love you less. Love them more. 47. Another disciple who had believed in bodily resurrection said, Adonai, what proof can be given that there is life beyond the grave? Yahushua answered, there is proof to those worthy of it. But if it were a manifest certainty as a reward for a good life, how would the hypocrites and those who would do nothing without payment be discovered? If uncertainty and doubt were removed from life, then it would be of less value for its purpose. Things are as they are because so they must be. If you want proof, become worthy of it. You will not be denied it even here, but you must seek diligently. Nothing comes easily, and this, least of all. Wow. Oh man, this is it's so incredible. These words of our Messiah. What's the proof of life, guys? This is the thing. This is why we don't, for the most of us, have that proof that we need, because we need to have that faith by reading the words of Scriptures, that we are willing to align our lives into that way of Scriptures. And if we truly need that proof, which I don't. I look at creation. I look out my window right here and I see my papaya trees that just somehow start growing, and then they fall off and they start growing, and I see their cycle of life just right outside my door. I see the cycle of life of these animals and critters and jungle critters and these things all over the place. I see the sun setting, and I see them opening in different gates throughout the seasons. I can see the sun moving in different paths, just like the book of Enoch says. It is as Scripture says. And if we are understanding to have that kind of faith, then why do we need the proof of the afterlife? But if we do need the proof of the afterlife, seek ye first the kingdom, and all these things shall be answered unto you. And you will have your proof, because our Creator will give you a dream. He will give you whatever you need. You will see a vision. You will see whatever it is you absolutely have to have, if you have to have that. But who created everything that we see all around us? With every gasp of air that we breathe, who gave us that blessing so that we can stay alive? How is it possible we take in this big breath of air and somehow that converts it to white and red blood cells and we can stay alive? That's the miracle of creation, and that's what we have all around us. Is we have a Creator who is bigger than everything around us. And I don't need any kind of certainty about the world to come. I know. I've read Scriptures. I know basically what it's going to look like. And it's going to be for people who are extremely faithful to the kingdom and the Torah. Okay, so amazing stuff, right? If you need the proof, Messiah says you can have it. I believe it. Take it if you want it. 49. Before they departed from that place, a disciple, a Talmud, said to Yahushua, Adonai, now that we go up to take up our burdens, tell us how to avoid wrongdoing. Yahushua said, were you able to avoid all wrongdoing and sin? Such is the known frailty of men that I fear you would fall into another one, that of false pride. Look at the falsely pious ones who glory in their righteousness, and this is not the least of sins. Having taught in this manner and said these and many other things, Yahushua departed from that place on the mountainside and went down to carry the tidings concerning the coming rule of Elohim to the people. So there we go. A disciple asked, how do we take up our burdens? How do we avoid wrongdoing? And Messiah has very clearly pointed out in the previous readings we've been reading, is that this planet, this plane, that we're on, is a testing ground. It is for testing, and it is for us to see if we are going to make the cut. And everything that we do is a test. It's a part of the entire thing. And it doesn't sound like we can avoid all wrongdoings and sin, but we can get better at it, and we can clearly understand what sin is by reading scriptures. And it's up to us to realize what sin is because of the books we've been given. It's not like everything's been hidden. It's easy to have it. We all speak English, most of us. And if not, it's in other languages. So the truth is right here. And so, guys, I encourage all of you guys to read your scriptures, to read the word of our Creator, whatever translation you can, and seek Him, seek His ways, pray. And hopefully I see you guys all on the other side. Much love. I'm out.